I'm not exactly sure it is wise to be running Darkrai on the night before Halloween. Let's hope we don't have nightmares after this. And now Darkrai is a Generation 4 mythical Pokemon, but I didn't get my grubby mitts on one until all the way in Generation 8 in Legends Arceus when I finally got one of my own. And now, even though the learn sets were starting to get a little bit better when we got to Generation 4, this definitely suffers from the legendary and mythical problem of not having a fantastic learn set early on in game. You were of course never intended to get one all the way at level 5, so they didn't really put too much care into the early game learn set. But regardless, we shall take a look at our stats and learn set and see what we're up with. We're level 5 with 22 HP, holding a berry with Disable and Ominous Wind, 15 in attack and defense, 20 in special attack, 16 in special defense, and 19 in speed. And with that, we can hand over to the live run. Today we are concluding our Generation 4 Halloween celebration with Darkrai, a mythical Pokemon from Generation 4, and this one's actually going to have a fairly tricky start. We encounter Centret here, but we've got nothing to take it out with, so we're going to have to try and deplete our power points on anything that is not a normal type, and in fact this Hoppip is incredibly fortuitous. Now, as we're getting into this run, I just want to say that I am in a new recording setup. I've finally got a recording office, so if the audio sounds a little bit different to normal, that is why. So I'm going to try my best to make it as seamless as possible, but there may be a few times where the audio sounds just a little bit different. Now we are through our disabled PP and we can start using Ominous Wind, and we're going to try and get a few levels before going into Mr. Pokemon's house, or at least level up just a tiny bit. We are in slow, so it could be a bit of a process, and I tell you what, I'll meet back with you when we are ready to take on the rival. So I've got a couple of levels before chatting with Mr. Pokemon. We're going to have to do the struggle grind again after we've taken on Rival 1, but I thought we might as well get this battle over and done with, because we are going to get the heal right here. So let's now go and have a little chat with Mr. Pokemon, not with Mr. Pokemon, with Professor Elm rather. We'll name the rival triple question mark, and then we'll get back to depleting all of our power points. There we go, thanks to this Caterpie, we have now depleted all of our power points, and that means we can get through our first roadblock, which is Youngster Mikey. Hopefully this won't be too bad of a battle. We'll be able to get through in just 3 shots, taking very little damage really, all things considered. And now we can keep on the grind up to level 11, where we'll be able to take on Falkner's Gym. I've actually ended up doing Sprout Tower for the first time in goodness knows how long, just so that we can get the extra levels, so that we can actually learn an attacking move that can hit a lot of things. We've got Quick Attack now, and that is absolutely fantastic. It's not going to be the strongest move in the world, but at least we can hit normal types without taking recoil now. So now that we are level 11, we actually get ourselves Flash, so I don't need to worry about Flashless in this particular challenge. We'll grab the escape rope, we'll get ourselves out of here, I'll do a heal, and it'll be time for Falkner. And at long last, we can take on Falkner. He is our first gym leader together. He is a flying type specialist who leads with Pidgey. It's a 2-shot on the Pidgey, probably going to be a 3 or 4 shot on the Pidgeotto, depending on our rolls. And it's looking like we are getting the 4-shot today. No danger of being knocked out. But what a slog just to get our first badge. 9 minutes and 49 seconds for the Zephyr badge. I cannot wait to get some special attacks on this thing. It absolutely desperately needs them. For now though, we're going to go into the Pokemon Center. We will grab the egg, never to think of it again for this challenge. And we'll make our way through the Union Cave. And now we are through the other side of the Union Cave. We will catch our Kenya. Kenya's going to be helping us out with Fly. And goodness me, it's very, very good to have Kenya on the party for yet another challenge. So we will name our Spearow Kenya, and we will move on into the forest to catch our next 2 HM friends. And we are pausing the timer once again, this time at 11:51, and we are going to get our HM friends. First out of the blocks is Psyduck. Psyduck's going to be helping us out with Surf, Strength, Whirlpool, and Waterfall. And then we are also going to get Paris. And Paris' job is Flash today, Dig, and Rock Smash, as well as Cut. And with both of them added to the party, we will now leave here, but we're not going into the Slowpoke Well just yet. Instead, we are going back into Union Cave because we're going to pick up Swift. The timer was paused there for some reason. I forgot to unpause it after catching the HM friends, but I did resync ourselves ready for picking up Swift. We'll teach Swift and we will teach Mudslap to our Darkrai. We're also going to then use the escape rope, and I shall go into Slowpoke Well, and it'll be time for our second gym. And now we are ready for Bugsy. He is our second gym leader together, a bug-type specialist who leads with Metapod. We're going to fish for an Omni Boost here. I doubt we're going to get one, but it would be nice just for getting ourselves a little bit more prepared for the Scyther. Didn't happen in this instance, so we are going to have to rely just on Swift. We are weak to Fury Cutter, but he led with a quick attack for some reason, and that's all we needed to get through without too much damage at all. And that's the Hive Badge in 15 minutes and 8 seconds. With that, we're going to go into the Pokemon Center. We're going to do a quick PowerPoint heal. And it'll be time for rival number 2. This time he is going to lead with Ghastly, and we're absolutely fine with that because we've got Ominous Wind. So that should be a one-shot, so we don't need to worry about any kind of paralysis shenanigans. We'll fish for an Omni Boost again as we end up being confused, which is always fun. And I'm getting flashbacks to a certain Rival 2 from a very recent run. With that there, the Bayleaf's come out, he's going to start Razor Leafing us, and he crits. But we crit back, and we just about scrape through. I'm not sure we deserved that victory, but we shall take it nonetheless. 15 minutes and 50 odd seconds for rival number 2. Now, as we're going through the forest, I've got to be honest, Darkrai's one of those Pokemon that feels on paper like it should be playing a lot better than it actually is. Hopefully that will start to improve once we get Stab and once we start getting some special moves. But at the moment, I'm not actually that impressed with it. And I hate saying that because I really enjoy playing with backported Pokemon, especially when the stats are as stacked as this one is. So hopefully things will start to improve and we'll be able to get a respectable time. Now that we are through the forest, so we are going to get Headbutt. We'll teach that straight away, and it'll be time to catch Abra. The timer is paused for us to catch our Abra. Of course, it's going to be a guaranteed capture. So we'll just throw a Pokeball at the Abra, and that's the HM Friends completed for another challenge. And now we're in National Park, we'll pick up the Digtien. And we actually got burnt by the Bumhead Fire Ducks, so we're going to go up here, and there is a very conveniently placed Ice Berry. So we're going to use this Ice Berry to heal the burn, and now we can continue on with our quest to get everything done before it's time to take on Whitney. We might as well take on these Abra lines here because we've got nothing that they can hit us with, and we outspeed them, so it's all one-shots regardless. Anyway, now that that's done, we'll have a little chat with Floria, and we'll be ready for Whitney. I was about to go and grab the punches from Goldenrod, but I've just remembered that Darkrai, even though it learns what I would class as a physical punches, it doesn't learn any special punching moves in Generation 2. It can get Dynamic Punch, it can get Sucker Punch in later generations, it can get all sorts of punching moves, but not the Elemental Punches, which is incredibly frustrating, because I think that's exactly what would make this playthrough a lot smoother. We get through Whitney, again more through luck than judgment there. Time of 20 minutes and 47 seconds for the plain badge. I would be a little bit grumpy if I were in Whitney's shoes because a crit really did matter there for us getting the victory. We'll get the Squirts bottle from the eavesdropping so-and-so, and now we will do our heal before taking on fast, safe Ecruteak. I decided to do early Kimono Girls in this challenge. I think we should be fine against most of them, and it's going to give us some extra levels for going up the lighthouse. We are really just playing to level 29 at the moment. At level 29, this challenge will get significantly easier because we will have Feint Attack, and that is going to be our first stab move and our first special move. So I really cannot wait until we get to that point. I think that's when this challenge will start to open up even just a little bit. And we will take just a little bit at this point because at the moment everything is 2 and 3 shot city when we've got 135 in our special attack, but we can't do anything with our special attack because we've not learnt any bloomin' special moves yet. Anyway, with that rant over, we have defeated the Kimono Girls. Let us grab Surf, another move that we can't learn that I wish we could, and we'll start heading towards the lighthouse. And now we have made it to the tippy top of the lighthouse where we'll have a little chat with Jasmine. We're going to grab the rare candy from here, we'll dig out, and we'll make our way back to Ecruteak. And here in Ecruteak, we're going to go into the Burnt Tower, and we will take on the rival for a third time. This time he's going to lead with Haunter. We've got Ominous Winds, so hopefully this will still be a one-shot, so we don't have to deal with any curse shenanigans. Up next is going to be Zubat. We'll headbutt it and we take it down in one. And the next Pokemon is Magnemite. Mudslap is just about capable of one-shotting. I wonder if that was a range after all of that. And then we can start headbutting the Bayleaf. Definitely an easier rival battle than Rival 2, but still not as smooth as I would have liked it. Time of 26:40 seconds for rival number 3. Let's get out of here now and let's go into our next gym. And now we are ready for Morty. He is our 4th gym leader. He is a dual ghost and poison type specialist and he leads with Ghastly. We will use Mudslap against the Ghastly and we end up being cursed, but we have reached level 29. We get Feint Attack. Let's see how much it does. It's a one-shot against the Gengar. Thank heavens for that. We are in a much, much, much better position now. We are able to get through all of the rest of these Pokemon, and we get through Morty and obtain the badge in 28 minutes and 57 seconds. Let's now head towards the Lake of Rage. And now here at the lake, we might as well take on the Gyarados while we're in the neighbourhood. Let's see how much Feint Attack does. Not as much as I would have hoped, and Double Dragon Rage was a little bit mean there from the Gyarados. We could have been knocked out if circumstances were different, but thank goodness they weren't. We'll now have a little chat with Lance. He'll sell us some lie about Mahogany Underground being involved in something we don't particularly care. All we care about at the moment is heading towards the Hidden Powerhouse. And now that we've had a little chat with the Meditating Man, we are able to get Hidden Power, and we are going to teach that quick, sharp, and in a hurry in place of Mudslap. Mudslap and Hidden Power pretty much serving the same purpose. It's our answer to Steel types in this challenge. And now we will teleport all the way back to Olivine City, which is the home of our next gym leader. And now we're at the tippy top of the lighthouse. We will give Jasmine the secret potion to give to Amphi. She'll claim that she does it, but I'm still very skeptical. And with that, we can make our way in to our 5th gym together. This is Jasmine. She is a Steel type specialist, and she's going to lead with Magnemite. Now, I've chosen to take on Jasmine next because we have the type disadvantage to good old Chuck, and I reckon this should be a fairly easy battle considering we've got huge special attack. I reckon it'll be a 2-shot on the Steelix. We can more than easily tank a single Iron Tail, and we get through Jasmine and obtain the Mineral Badge in 32:56. Now that also gives us the added bonus of having a boost to our physical defense, and I think that might come in very important as we take on Chuck. And now we are ready for Chuck. He is our 6th gym leader together today, a fighting type specialist who leads with Primeape. We're going to be fishing for flinches here. I reckon that's the only way we're going to get through this battle fairly easily. That, combined with Dynamic Punch missing, we've survived on one, but we knock ourselves out in confusion. This is always going to be a tricky gym for Darkrai. We could have gone for a Hidden Power type to target Chuck here, but then we'd be struggling elsewhere. I think this is just going to be one where we have to keep throwing the dice and hoping that we can get some flinches off and hope that he doesn't land Dynamic Punch quite as often as he is. So we will just keep on persevering. I reckon this and Bruno will be 2 of our trickier battles, and hopefully the rest will be fairly simple in comparison. We're not getting the flinch luck we need at the moment, which is kind of rare for us actually. Normally, we get the flinch luck at Chuck. It's incredibly uncommon for us to be walled by Chuck for quite this long. Hopefully this will be the time where the flinches start to come in, or at least the Dynamic Punches start to miss. There we go, that's what we were after. And we are now through Chuck on our 4th attempt in 35 minutes and 43 seconds. Now that means I've put it off long enough. It's time for me to do Rocket Mahogany Hideout. I won't make you sit through it. Let's skip ahead to Pryce. And now we are ready for Pryce. The rocket section was monotonous as always, but it was fairly simple. Pryce is our 7th gym leader together today, an Ice type specialist. He led with Seal that's gone down. Dugong's next. We knock it out in 2 shots, and then hopefully we'll get a 1 shot against the Piloswine. Grow to level 37, and that is Pryce defeated in a time of 42 minutes and 43 seconds. We get Icy Wind. We might actually be learning that later on. Very rare that we use Icy Wind, but in today's challenge, it could be one of the better moves for us. Let's now move on to rival number 4. And now we are here in the Goldenrod Underground, where it is time for the 4th and penultimate rival battle. This time, he's leading with Golbat. We don't have anything great for the Golbat, and we have ended up being confused, which is a little bit mean, but we'll finish it off with a feint attack. Magnemite is next. We use Hidden Power. We don't hit ourselves in confusion, so we're not going to be paralysed by the Magnemite. In this particular challenge, we will Hidden Power the Sneasel. We'll Hidden Power as well the Meganium, but we've ended up being poisoned. That's more of a pest rather than anything too devastating, because we can get through the Haunter, and we have defeated Rival 4, and we can move on to Clair. And now we are ready for Clair. She is our final Jotonian gym leader. She is a Dragon-type specialist who leads with Dragonair, and we're having to rely on Icy Wind for this battle, unfortunately. I wish there was a nicer way through it. I really don't like Icy Wind because it has a chance to miss. But we did get through all 3 of the Dragonair. Let's move to Feint Attack now for the Kingdra. A couple of Feint Attacks will knock it out perfectly, and we are through Clair, and we can get her badge. And now, after answering the questionnaire correctly here in the Dragon's Den, Clair comes into the den and gives us our last Johto badge in 56 minutes and 13 seconds. With that, we can leave and we can start thinking about heading towards the Pokemon League. Now, as we're heading towards the League, actually, I just want to say, I think Darkrai really has suffered from early generation learn set and also the physical special split. Because moves like Ominous Wind would have been special in Generation 4. And I think having the physical special split would really have benefited this run. It is a shame that we don't get the elemental punches. That would have made a big difference to the start of the game. But we are still doing fairly well, considering the limitations we have with Darkrai. Let's now head further and further towards the final rival battle. And now we've just got to make it through Rival 5 and the League, and then our learn set will get infinitely better than it currently is, because we're going to get Bolt Beam and we'll be able to get Psychic, all in the very beginning phase of Kanto. That's why I don't like Icy Wind. It missed there against the Golbat. Thank goodness it didn't try and confuse us. We're through Magneton as well now though, and we are on to Bayleaf. I'm going to do an Ominous Wind because I don't think this is going to be a one-shot with Hidden Power. Even with our ludicrous special attack, we'll Ominous Wind the Kadabra. We might as well. We'll take it down in one shot. And that just leaves Haunter. We'll use another Ominous Wind, and we get through the final rival battle in 58 minutes and 49 seconds. And with that, we're at the Pokemon League, so we're going to heal up whether we need to or not, and we will grab our 4 full restores, and we can start making our way into the League. And we should hopefully be starting fairly easy with Will. He is a Psychic-type specialist who leads with Xatu. So I'm hoping this will be a case of just 5 simple one-shots, because we have the high special attack, he's weak to Dark-type moves, and I don't think there's much he can do. Xatu doing quick attack, hopefully that's the only damage we will see throughout the course of this battle, and that is Will defeated. Time of 1 hour and 32 seconds. Let's move on to Koga. Koga is a Poison-type specialist, and he's going to lead with Ariados. So we'll use Hidden Power against the Ariados, we'll take that down in one shot, and then we can use Hidden Power against the Venomoth as well. Up next is Fortress, 4 times weak to fire. We might as well continue using Hidden Power, and then we're going to fish for an Omni Boost against this Muck. Let's see if we get it. We do not, and now we have been Toxic, which is a little bit frustrating, but hopefully we'll be able to one-shot the Crobat, and we can't. Icy Wind is just that bad. We are very much hoping that we can get our next hit off, which we can because of Feint Attack. And we are through Koga rather, in 1 hour, 1 minute and 18 seconds. Now let's move on to Bruno, and what do we do about Bruno? I've decided to use our rare candies here at Bruno. I'm not sure if that was a sensible choice or not, but that is the choice I have made. I reckon, you know, we're fishing from the Omni Boost and we get it. So that has hopefully made this battle a little bit easier than it otherwise would have been. We get through Hitmontop and we are on to the Hitmonlee. We'll use Ominous Wind and we've been swaggered. That would be fantastic if we had a bunch of physical moves, but we don't. We only have Ominous Wind. We take our guaranteed damage there and we are hitting ourselves in confusion as well. This is all going wrong. We are through the Hitmonchan though and we are on to the pesky Machamp. We critical hit it, but we get knocked out by Cross Chop. I did bring a Headbutt in with me, and I reckon, you know, Ominous Wind has served its purpose. We might be better fishing for the flinches. This was always going to be a tough battle. Let's just hope that we can get through fairly easily without too many attempts, although we could be walled by Bruno for quite some time. Our physical attack just isn't quite there. Might end up having to put on the pink bow as well, actually. We could go return strats. This is a definite toughie. Hopefully the pink bow will give us a little bit of extra damage output. We are back at Bruno. No damage from the Hitmontop this time. Now, is this a range? It's a crit, so that helps. We're going to take some guaranteed damage now off this Hitmonchan. There's not much we can do about that. We don't have a priority move, and we are back onto Machamp. If we can flinch the Machamp, then I think we're going to get through. Return would be no use here, because Return would still be a two-shot. So we've just got to try and flinch that Machamp and hope for the best. I genuinely think that's the only way through this. And even then, it's going to be tough, because we're going to get our guaranteed damage here off Hitmonchan. We're already down to just 23 HP. Nice crit, Cross Chop misses. We're still not out of the woods yet, though. We get the flinch. As long as Icy Wind hits, actually we can feint attack. We're through, Bruno. There we go. Let's heal up, let's regroup, and let's take on Karen. So this is Karen. She's a Dark-type specialist, much like us in this challenge, and she leads with Umbreon. We don't have anything great for the Umbreon, and she has Sand attacked us, and she's Confused Raid us. Horrible start there from Karen. We are able to tank any hits from the Umbreon. In fact, we're doing more damage to ourselves and taking a reset. Absolutely ridiculous start there from Karen. Let's try again. Hopefully Sand attack will fail, or we get the flinch. That would be even better. She's going straight into feint attack. We're through the Umbreon onto the Vileplume. We'll use Hidden Power against the Vileplume. We'll knock it out in one. Up next is Murkrow. We've got Icy Wind for the Murkrow. We can take that out in one shot as well. And here comes Houndoom. I reckon our best option here is to Headbutt. She gets herself caught in a healing loop, and we knock it out in just a couple of extra hits. Gengar's last, and we can use a feint attack to knock it out. We are through Karen, and we can turn our attention to Lance. Now, Lance is the liar with the flyers, and I am really hoping that Icy Wind is enough to take care of those Dragonites. We'll start off with a Headbutt against the Gyarados, try and fish for a flinch, and then we'll finish it off with a feint attack. Now, here comes the first Dragonite. We knock it out in one with Icy Wind. Please, Icy Wind, do connect. Thank you very much there. We're through both of the paralysing Dragonite. We'll use another Icy Wind against the Aerodactyl. We don't one-shot it, but we can finish it off with a feint attack. Up next is Charizard. We'll fish for a flinch once more. Flamethrower hits, and we get burnt, but we don't really mind because we're using special attacks for the rest of this battle. Icy Wind connects on the Dragonite, and we are through Lance, and the dark days are over as we get through Lance in 106.26. Now, that was a tricky old start to this challenge. We are getting our Hall of Fame time, though, of 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 42 seconds. Let's now move on to Kanto and have a look at the midpoint leaderboard. And for the midpoint of the Unbound, we are in last place, and that translates into 95th place on our overall midpoint leaderboard. There is still everything to play for, though. This is only the midpoint of the challenge, so don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And so we are rejoining the action here in Vermilion City, as we always do. where we are going to grab another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokémon fan club. And with that safely tucked away in our pack for another challenge, we are going to start the Kantonian Gauntlet. And even though we've not had a great start to the challenge so far, Darkrai is capable of taking on our standard Kantonian routing, so that means we are going to start here in Vermilion City with Lieutenant Surge. We will cross over to Celadon City for Erica, then it's off to Fuchsia for Janine, back to Saffron for Sabrina. We will take on Misty in Cerulean City, Brock in Pewter City. We will go down to the Seafoam Islands for Blaine, and then we shall finish off in Viridian City with Blue. And now, thinking of the Blue fight, if you do want to skip ahead to that and skip the Kanto chat, that is going to be starting at around about 28 minutes and 34 seconds. For everybody else who is sticking with me though, let's now sit back, we'll relax and we'll have our standard Kantonian chat. And now I have started to get a little bit under the weather again. You can hear with the voiceover in this run, I've definitely picked up another low level upper respiratory tract infection, as is often the case at this time of year with me, but we shall persevere. I've got a bit of a break now from recordings before I take on November's challenges, because there's a little bit of coding that I need to do. Now, I was thinking a lot about Darkrai ever since I played the run, and it really does show that stats don't mean everything when we have a Pokemon with incredibly good stats, especially in special attack and speed. However, it just does not have the moves to back it up. We were struggling at the very beginning of the challenge, obviously only having a Ghost type move, and with Ghost being physical and non-stab, we really did set ourselves up for quite a tricky challenge. I think that's the case for a lot of legendaries and mythicals. Because we aren't really supposed to have them at the lower levels, we generally find that the legendary and mythical learn sets are a little bit naff at the beginning of the game. That combined with the quite often slow experience group, and in the case of a Pokemon like Darkrai not being able to hit a normal type Pokemon until you deplete all of your PP, it can start eating away at your time, a little bit like Darkrai eats away at your dreams. Unfortunately though, that's the way the cookie crumbles for a lot of our legendaries and mythicals. I will still be doing them from time to time, although I think we have to all come to accept that a lot of them will not make it to the very top of the leaderboard. I think Mewtwo is the exception to the rule there, along with maybe Mew, because they actually have viable learn sets early on. Although even Mewtwo doesn't have the best stab, I think you're stuck with confusion until well past the Pokemon League if you are playing on the Mewtwo challenge. But that has got me thinking, you know, which legendaries and which mythicals across all generations do you think will have the best time in a Gen 2 challenge run setting? I can think of 3 Pokemon off the top of my head that will have an absolutely terrible time, those being the Regis, because they of course start with just a boom move, so we'll have to figure something out for those. And then Latios and Latias also have a terrible start because they start with the absolutely abysmal Psywave, so it could always have been worse than what we ended up with at the beginning of this challenge. Of course, at least Ominous Wind does have the chance for an Omni Boost if it can hit its foes. But now we're out of time for this chat, so let's pass to Blue. And once again we have made it to Blue for another challenge. He is our final gym leader of the challenge, and he leads with Pidgeot. We've got Ice Beam, it's super effective against Pidgeot, and we can knock it out in one shot. We'll continue using Ice Beam against the Rhydon as well, take advantage of its zero special defense ostensibly. We've got Thunderbolt for the Gyarados, and that brings us on to Arcanine. Now, we don't have anything too fantastic for the Arcanine. We're going to use a Thunderbolt, try and get a paralysis off, but it didn't happen. We'll finish it off with a feint attack, and then we can feint attack the Executor and the Alakazam, and hopefully it'll be one shot apiece for these last 2 Pokemon. There we go, we are through Blue in a time of 1 hour, 21 minutes and 49 seconds. Let's start heading towards Silver Cave. And so here we are in front of Red. He is our final trainer of the challenge, and he leads with Pikachu. Ice Beam is not a one-shot on the Pikachu, but we have ended up freezing it, which is a fantastic start, and we are able to get him caught in a little bit of a healing loop. We critical hit to knock it out, and up next is going to be Snorlax. We're going to make this Snorlax take a nap, and then we're just going to start spamming Ice Beam on it. Hopefully this nap is long enough for us to get through the Snorlax. Unfortunately it's not, so we'll just make it take yet another nap. I reckon the Snorlax is going to be, if anything, the biggest wall of this challenge. We've just got to hope that we can send it to sleep for long enough that we're able to then just spam our special attacks just like this. We are going to take a little bit of damage from its attacks, but not too much. We can two-shot the Venusaur very, very easily, and we are on to Charizard. Now, I reckon this Charizard's going to be a two-shot, so hopefully Fire Blast does not hit us, Flamethrower rather, doesn't hit us too hard. We're able to get through it, and that brings us on to Blastoise. We're going to Thunderbolt and hope he goes for Rain Dance. He goes straight for Surf, and he knocks us out. Let's try again. So I've replaced Hidden Power with Return for this attempt. It might not be the most sensible idea in the world, but it does give us a physical attack for this Snorlax. Once again, we're going to make it take a nap, and I've pressed the wrong button there. That's absolutely fine. At least now we know that we can hit it with our physical attacks. Body Slam is going to hit us fairly hard, but we'll just make the Snorlax take yet another nap. We'll go back to Return now, and we will just keep on spamming it. And we are in the green this time as the Snorlax gets knocked out. That brings us back onto the Venusaur. We'll use Ice Beam against the Venusaur. We know it's going to be a two-shot as it takes in Sunlight. Here comes Charizard once more. We are hoping that we don't get burnt. The burn really is the only thing that could really screw us over at this point, I think. We get through Charizard and we are back onto this pesky Blastoise. We'll use Thunderbolt. It goes for Surf, but it doesn't knock us out this time. That just leaves Espeon left to go. We're going to make it take a nap, because I am a little bit worried about it. Even though it can't hit us too hard, a crit could have knocked us out there. And then we'll two-shot it with Return, and we will finish off red in 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 44 seconds. Let's take a look at the final run leaderboard. So that does unfortunately put us in last place on our Unbound leaderboard, a full 5 minutes behind Drifblim there, and there is no change to the first page of our Unbound leaderboard. Overall, we are in 73rd place, so we did climb some positions there from the midpoint, but still not the best run we have ever had. But with that, we have reached the end of another challenge. So if you enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. It really does help out. If you want to see more videos just like this, then click the subscribe button. If you want to see videos early, you can always join the HM Friends and become a channel member. And now all that is left for me to say for this final run of our Halloween specials is thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed this one. And until next time when we're running something a little bit special across the Johto region, I will say thank you for watching, and I will catch you all very soon.